The Korean A-frame remained a necessity in Korean life for thousands of years, but began to fade into the background with the introduction of automobiles. However, the Jige was not going to leave without saying a proper goodbye. It was given its final showcase during the Korean War.
For American soldiers who participated in the war, the Jige was a memorable object. It was a packaging structure that they had not seen in other countries. American soldiers thought that the carrying tool resembled the letter A. This is how the Jige's English name, the Korean A-frame, was born. And this curious tool ended up playing a very important role in the war. A steady supply of munitions and rations is a critical point that can determine victory or defeat in war. However, the mountainous terrain of the Korean peninsula proved to be a huge logistical challenge for the United Nations. Rough land made up 70% of the terrain, which made transporting supplies extremely difficult. Once the versatility and usefulness of the Jige was revealed, a special A-frame military unit was established. So on July 26, 1950, the South Korean military deployed civilians to aid a joint supply operation with the US military.
As many as 300,000 people were recruited to the KSC battalion to transport materials using the Jige during the Korean War. These were not regular soldiers, but young boys and old men. These foragers overcame harsh weather conditions to transport materials to places where vehicles could not go. Mr. Jin said this of being in the KSC battalion. We carried live M1 ammunition cases up and down mountainsides all day and night. We carried ammo until we started to doze off and collapse to our knees.
The decisive action of the A-frame units largely took place on the Nakdong-gang riverfront. Busan Port, the southernmost port in Korea, had a huge stockpile of supplies. Every day, 10,000 tons of ammunition, fuel, and food were brought in by ship. The important role of transporting these supplies from port to the battlefield was given to the A-frame. Every day, A-frame operators would haul 100 pounds of supplies on their backs and carry those supplies on foot 10 miles to the mountainside to comrades at the battlefront.
Mr. Kum of another KSC battalion said, after a while, I would look down at my hands and realize they were numb. The Jiges were that heavy and the weather was that cold.
James Van Fleet, U.S. commander of the 8th Army during the Korean War, and later a diplomat, recalled, "We were helped by war heroes called the Jige troops. If it weren't for them, we would have had to send a huge number of additional U.S. troops to help supply the field." The Jige unit played an important role in the war that determined the fate of the country. There were about 300,000 civilian workers who were officially involved in the war. Out of these 2,064 civilian warriors, 2,448 people were missing and 4,282 people were injured.
The forgotten war heroes of the civilian KSC battalions can now be remembered for their valiant efforts. Korea would not be what it is today if it wasn't for these heroes and the utility of the Korean A-frame.